all for being here. I'd like to introduce Brett Newby.
Well, good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Brett Newby. Um, I am running to be Arizona's next Superintendent of Public Instruction. And just a little bit about myself. I've been a coach. I coached high school baseball for over 20 years. I'm an associate professor, and I'm a behavior analyst. But most importantly, I'm a dad. And I have two daughters that go to public school. But I'm also a product of public schools. I'm also a product of Title I schools. And so I'm really just here and I'm entering the race because I've just become tired of seeing our children, our kids, our teachers, our communities suffering for no apparent reason but for money. I really just want to be able to put our kids first. I want Arizona to have a future. I want our rural tribal communities to be able to grow and prosper and have vivid communities themselves. I was raised in a union family. My dad was in the Carpenters Union. My mom was in the classified um, school employees union. My grandfather was in the Carpenters Union. My grandma was in the grocery union. So I grew up in a union family, going to public schools, voted Democrat my whole life. My family's voted Democrat their entire lives. Um, I know it's time for me as a dad and as a community member, as an Arizonan, to work hard to ensure that our kids have the same sorts of futures, the same sorts of opportunities that I had. Um, and really just be able to pursue their dreams and do the things that they want. Um, I've spent my most of my adult life serving kids with special needs. I work on the clinical side, so I really work with families and getting their kids with developmental disabilities access to services, both in schools and in home clinic-based services. And, my why is over the last several years, I've said somebody needs to do something, somebody needs to do something, somebody needs to do something. And I finally realized that somebody is me, that you can't have somebody without me. And so that's really why I put my foot into the race, um, because I have daughters that are going to public school. I've seen their teachers have to take on second, third jobs to be able to pay their mortgage, pay their bills. I've seen them have to move in with family members to be able to afford the things that they need to afford. And I'm just tired of that. Um, I want to fight for all kids in Arizona. Doesn't matter on the zip code, doesn't matter what their socioeconomics are. If you're an Arizona kid, you're going to get a great education so they can get a great job and you can become a valuable member of our community. Our Arizona state legislature, Republican legislatures have let us down. There's decades on record of them defunding education, putting barriers to funding our education, not paying our teachers enough, not funding our students enough, and that our rural communities um, and our tribal communities are suffering, let alone our urban school districts and schools that are closing and cutting jobs across the board. It seems every day. The state of education in Arizona. Arizona is the second worst in teacher pay nationally. I want to ensure that we change that. Teaching is a career. Our teachers should focus on teaching our students and not having to deliver food on the weekends to make ends meet. We're ranked 50th in student spending, and I don't feel that's accurate in that Arizona should be top ranked in student spending. We're one of the most innovative states in all the things that we do. We have some of the top universities here in Arizona in innovation. And, I feel like our public schools should be number one funded um, in all things. And we also have the worst counselor to student ratio in the nation. Our students with developmental disabilities, behavioral health issues are suffering. And it's time that we take a step in the right direction and we ensure that all of our students, no matter their diagnosis, are able to get a high quality education and can become contributing members to our community. My three big issues of why I'm in the race is, our ESA vouchers are draining our schools. We really need to audit our vendors, um, how we're giving away those funds, where those tax dollars are going, who's receiving those tax dollars. I also want to ensure that we increase teacher pay and we retain our teachers. We've lost thousands of teachers over the last few years, and it's a crisis. And I think we should be more loud about it because I had wonderful teachers that inspired me, that put me here today where I am, and the things that I'm doing in my life and contributing to my community. And I want to ensure that our children are having those same opportunities and having that inspiration from those teachers as well. There's also a lack of full day kindergarten and mental health support. I want to ensure that we have funding for that, and that we bring back fully funded kindergarten and our preschools for early development. So here's my plan. We want to restore full oversight over the ESA accounts. We want to dial back those dollars. We want to figure out where they're going, and if there's a better system. We want to direct the department to audit the ESA program since its expansion. We want to refer any misuse of funds to the Attorney General for a full investigation and possible legal action. We're going to roll back universal vouchers to their original intention to support our students with special needs. We're going to fight to raise educator pay above the median average and get us back on the top across the nation in our teacher pay. And we're going to restore full day kindergarten and fund early childhood education programs across the board. So how can you help? We're still collecting signatures so that I can be on the ballot, so I can have a chance to be able to do these things. So I would love your support and questions.
Are there ways to discover student outcomes without standardized testing? And if so, how?
Well, we have to have benchmarks. We have to have a way to collect data. So I'm a behavior analyst. If you're not familiar with that, basically that means I live and die by the data that we take. And so really for me, being able to dial into what the data looks like and make decisions based on data. I want to ensure everything that I do is data driven. And so one of the things that is important to me is to look at where are we doing things well and where do we need to improve things, and being able to collaborate and share those ideas, because I know there's great teachers out there, there's great administrators out there that are doing great things. But if we're not talking to each other and we're not collaborating, then it goes to par, right? Because we're not sharing great things and overcoming our challenges together. And so that's one of the things that I believe is we can create benchmarks and ensure that we're all hitting those benchmarks in doing so.
Okay, next question. What is your position on sex education?
Well, that's a great question. I feel like at a certain age, you should know all the things that you should know about the human body, but we can also do it in an appropriate way, and we can do it in a way that makes our community safe and ensures that everybody is doing the things that they need to do appropriately.
Okay. Next question is, given your background serving students with disabilities, how can we better support their public school experience? And how would you plan to fund that?
Well, we have large corporations and billionaires moving to Arizona every day that are not paying income tax. So there's a plethora of funds that can be dialed into, but I also want to ensure that we're including those students, that we have programming for those students, A lot of the students that have developmental disabilities and special needs, those are the first positions that get cut when school districts have to cut positions. And so really just looking at what school districts are doing, what are the programs that are working, where is the biggest need, and adjusting funding, adjusting programming, and just basically making sure that we're supporting those students, but also supporting those families, because a lot of those students are nonverbal. They don't have the ability to advocate for themselves, and so really dialing in and listening to families. I go into family homes all the time and making sure that we have those relationships built. But our parents for those students are their biggest advocates. Nobody chooses to have a child with developmental disabilities. And so I want to be an advocate for that. And I want to be an advocate for those students to ensure that they have um, a good education, they're learning the things that they need to learn, and that the goals that they have in their IEPs um, are things that are going to improve their lives and the lives of their families and the communities where they live.
Well, that's it for questions in the chat. Do you have any closing remarks?
Yes. Our campaign is getting off the ground, so we would love your signature. You can visit my website. It's www.brettnewby.com. You can find all of my policy positions on there. You can find out information to be able to sign, to donate, to support us. If you have questions, I would love for you to reach out, send me emails, invite me to community events. I love Tucson. I used to work down there, so. Anytime you need me in person, I'd be glad to speak to anybody that is interested, has concerns. I'm a dad. I'm not a politician, so I like talking to people and learning about communities and different needs. And um, I want this to be a collaborative approach so that all of our kids have a better future. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck to you. We again encourage the people that are on this call to go out, look at your website, and definitely sign your petition. Equal. Remember, everybody, it's equal. Easy. Thank you, Brett. And thanks for running.